you're talking about you're not going to assess Caleb Williams in a similar vein as Jaden Daniels because of the guy who's calling the plays in Chicago. What are you seeing out of Shane Waldron's offense that gives you pause here, Chris?
Well, a lot. I mean, I don't know what their identity is, honestly. I mean, like, I'm not making an excuse for the kid because I don't think he's playing as well as Jaden Daniels, like, period. And if you'd asked me coming out who the best quarterback was in this class, I would have said Jaden Daniels. And I told you, if Chicago makes this trade, you have to be ready for a little bit of a disappointment early where it's like you're not ready to win now. Like you were ready to build towards winning now last year if you had, accepted some of the, the assets you get out of that haul if you traded out of the pick and like maybe you could fortify your team. And like as evidence, like Justin Fields in the second half the other day, if Pittsburgh would ever say, hey, we don't have to wait to get down to use him, I do think there's a starting quarterback in there. And I think with Chicago's defense, that team was ready to win this year. But as long as you're willing to play the long game, and that might include sifting through some scheme issues and some of the, hey, we couldn't get the O-line patched up, even though people told me it was like the best situation in the history of football for a rookie QB, and then a couple started making excuses for the rookie. The rookie can do some special things. I see it. But, in general, I haven't seen him move the pocket enough. I really like him throwing on the run. I don't mean to be like kind of surface level, but that's one thing that jumped out at me watching him the other day. And then, there are throws he could hit before the half in the red zone, but I'm also watching him 2 weeks ago. And when your offensive coordinator is blocking a guy with a 94 number with a guy wearing an 11, like that's a problem down on the goal line. And then when you're going speed option off of that into that look, like I just don't know if they know what the identity of that offense is yet. Now Swift had a good game the other day, so that's something you build on. But I think the Commanders know who they are, and they built the group knowing who they want to be. And I think like for instance, I watched, the Cincinnati game, which I was like you, Rich, like probably my jaw's on the floor in the second half of that game, watching him throw the football. But you know what else they did? They protected him. The tackle that they grabbed in the third round from TCU, I think his name's Coleman. He did a really good job on Trey Hendrickson. It was 2.86 time to pressure. In NFL terms, that's a long time. And so he's got all day. They draft Luke McCaffrey. They've had a nice connection. They bring in Zach Ertz. He's had a really good connection. I mean, Zach Ertz is a great player, played in this game a long time. He told me before the season started, this guy's going to be good, and he's going to be good right away. And so when you're a veteran like that, talk about a guy like that, I mean, it just confirms that what you're seeing is real. I'll put it this way. And by the way, you got Terry McLaurin, who might be one of the most well-liked receivers in the game, and everybody's felt for him, catching the ball from a bunch of different guys. He's waiting his whole career. He's not a spring chicken anyways. He's like 24 as a rookie. I feel for him. I want to see him catch the ball from somebody as great as him. And watching him in that Cincinnati game, I was just so happy for the organization, as happy as a former Eagle could be. And frankly, there's pieces like Frankie Louvu that you bring in from Carolina. It just seems like Dan Quinn and company did a really nice job. And we kind of wrote them off relative to the excitement in Chicago. And so I look at that and I say, like, it's interesting. They traded away defensive pieces up front.
Yeah, Chase Young. And Sweat.
Yeah, I mean, more Sweat. Yeah, Sweat. But I look at this and I say, are they one of these teams that realize all of a sudden they might actually be good right now, and maybe they're buyers on the defensive side of the ball before the deadline?
Maybe so, man. Maybe so. They're 3-1, so they're leading the NFC East, and I think they're the best team in the NFC East through 4 weeks. And it's not just the record; you could see it with the eye test as well.
They ran for 200 yards.
I know they're killing it. They're doing very well. So before
and my Eagles stink right now. I'm not saying they stink, but that was stinky. So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to make any excuses. Like I said it on my show, the guy playing the best quarterback in the NFC East right now is this rookie, Jaden Daniels.
There's no doubt.
And the Eagles defense doesn't look that great right now. So I mean, like, they got to watch out for this team.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.